I wanna be free, so free, like a feather blowing through the breeze, like a bird. I wanna be free, so free, like a feather blowing through the breeze, like a bird in a tree, like a dolphin in a
Adele, if you can please press the button that says ask to share video and audio, we can bring you up.
When my time has come, I'll let it all go at the side. Pachamama, coming home to the place where I belong. Pachamama.
Okay, I see you now. You want to test out your vocals?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you very much.
I'm supposed to have another camera for this, so I'm gonna keep playing with the camera. It's just giving me my built-in crap. All right.
There's nowhere else to go except inside your heart and be.
You may want to mute yourself.
To the place where I belong.
Yeah, I'm muted. Thank you.
Pachamama, to the place where I belong. Pachamama, coming home to the place where I belong. Pachamama, coming home to the place where I belong.
How do I look, Kateria?
Looks great. We don't see you, though. We see your presentation, just so you know. Now we see you on that other camera.
Whenever you're ready, Kateria.
I'm ready when you are.
Oh, I was waiting for you. Hi, everybody. So, Hopin did a number on me. I had to switch cameras, so you're seeing a lot more of my studio. I hope you can see these boards okay. Can I get a yes in the chat? Awesome. Thank you, Kalevo. Thank you, Mama Roberta. I want to start off by taking a moment to breathe and honor the Manahoic indigenous people of the land upon which I'm standing here in Gainesville, Virginia. I want to wish them light, peace, and evolution, and I pray for their assistance in helping me to conduct this workshop today. My name is Ayodele Carter Davis. A lot of my family know me as Ayo. If you knew me before 1998, I am a priest of Ochosi, crowned by Stephanie Weaver, Okeshande, and Maya Jibona, Betty Davy, Okanigbe, in Brooklyn, New York, House of Ile Ashe. I'm being very deliberate in the way I'm speaking to you today because everything wants to come out at the same time. I'm so excited to give this presentation. Excuse me, Kateria, Amma says she only sees the slide, that she can't see me. Should I take the slide off?
No, I see you. I see you. Yeah.
Okay. Amma, is that better? So, yes. Okay, here I am. So I am going to start today not by doing my majubas. I'm not going to do my majubas, even though, Mafedi Funarisha. With the Oduns that I carry, I have to keep things separate. And today we're not talking about Ocha. Today we're talking about spirit. Today we're talking about Bovidas. And that's not Ocha. So I'm going to start with the Lord's Prayer. You all can join with me. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Light, peace, and progress to the guides and protections of Ayodele Carter. Light, peace, and progress to the guides and protections of Kateria Nyambi. Light, peace, and progress to the guides and protections of all the people that are present in our session today. May we be blessed and renewed in our time together. So, to let you know, when I do my classes on spiritual relationship development, I set up a glass specifically for the class and a candle. As you can see, I am covered with my red sash covering the center of me, so that I can stay focused and grounded. Um, my head is covered, right? Because even though I am teaching this class, we are in session, right? Spirit is here, spirit is always here. And when we talk about spirit and altars and all that jazz, it has served me well to honor what we're talking about. And in honoring and respecting this energy, and honoring and respecting the way energy flows through me and with me, I have to protect myself and act like I know. Okay. So just to start the program with, in all of your activities, um, act like you know, right? And protect yourself and honor the energies that are with you, honor your body, right? And keep yourself clean as much as possible. Before our session, I cleaned myself off at that glass. I prayed, I dedicated it to Olofi, specifically for this session, because my altar is upstairs, right? All my other stuff is upstairs. But for here, in this session, I have a glass just for us. Any questions in the chat? Are you all with me? I wish I could see some faces, so I'm just going to have to read. Everyone is typing, I guess. All right.
You can bring up people if you want. If anyone wants to come up, you have a space for 2 people.
Okay. All right. Anybody wants to come up, you're welcome. Um, okay. Julia says all is well. Fantastic. The Obatala Egbe invited me to speak today about altars and bovidas and renewing ourselves and how to get centered, because some of the Obatala members have taken my course, and some of the Obatala members have sat central with me. So yes, I will, Onyx. I see your chat there. What we're going to what I want to do is start off by introducing myself to those who don't know me. I am a 3rd generation Olorisha. I'm a priest of Ochosi, and I've been a medium for over 40 years, a practicing medium for over 40 years. And I was moved and begged by my God brothers and sisters to start teaching about sitting La Mesa Blanca or sitting Misa, or some people call Centro. And the reason to teach the particular classes is because a lot of the things that I learned when I was 9, 10, 11, 12 years old is not being taught the same way today, because we're not all together, right? Growing up in Brooklyn, everybody was all on top of each other. We were meeting every other day. We were having Centro, I called it Centro, but having Misa every day. Within my family, any time we got together, we took out a glass of water and some candles and we sat. So I grew up in a cocoon of spirituality, of love, of a very thin veil between the A train and God, if you will, right? Just real life, going to school, going to work, doing that stuff, and connecting with God and communing with God and walking with spirit and seeing spirit, right? And learning how to balance that out. So with the theme of our conference this year is faith, We had a number of speakers this weekend talk about faith, about faith is the seat of our confidence. I totally own that. Thank you, Mama Michelle. Because without my faith in God, without my faith in spirit, without my faith in Orisha, I would not be who I am. I would not be sane. Let's just start with sanity, right? So if there's any, I've got your question, Onyx, and if so, let's jump in. Altars, and I took the name Our Connectional Portals, and how there are many paths to the same destination. And that destination's God, basically. So I'm going to allow, we're going to screen share the wrong screen again. Move you back over here. I'm having fun with Hop-In. I think we all are having fun with Hop-In today. I'm going to escape. And while I'm messing with the computer, if you all can take a breath and get comfortable. Why aren't you escaping and moving over?
I can bring it up for you if you want.
No, I got it.
There you go.
The computer just has an attitude. We're just having attitude today. But it's all good. So we're going to hit that, and we're going to view tab, because I had a whole nother thing hooked up here. So we're going to play the slideshow. So where I begin, am I a medium? So before we can talk about altars, in my opinion, I want to talk about spirit, right? I want to talk about who you are and how you use your altars, how you use your Bovida. And I find that I hear this word medium being passed around. I'm a medium. Oh yeah, I'm a medium. That's a really serious term. Let me help you understand why, in my opinion. Everybody is born with a connection to spirit. So I believe everybody is sensitive. Everybody can feel something when they walk into a room. They can feel something when they're next to a certain person. They can feel something when they walk in the woods, right? Everybody feels something. But you're able to choose whether or not to pay attention to that something, right? You can, ooh, this is a scary house, I'm leaving. I don't like that guy, he feels creepy, I'm just gonna move away, right? Or I like, gosh, he's cute, he feels creepy, but I don't care, so I'm gonna stay with it and find out later that that creepy was validated. Either way, we're all sensitive people because we're just born with God in us. The difference is, or the difference, the nuances are very slight. So you're sensitive, you're a spiritual person, you were born with God, but you're able to choose whether or not to pay attention. Then you have empaths. They're born with a hypersensitivity to certain sound frequencies, to smells, to environments, to people. Some of them dream. Some of them can touch something and all of a sudden they're in another space. They're able to connect deeply and viscerally, but they're unable to ignore that feeling. That's the difference between being sensitive and being an empath. You can't ignore it when you're an empath. You are bombarded. It's almost like a sensory overload. Speaking to an empath, right? Speaking to an empath who was born into a spiritual family that had I not been, I would have probably been committed, right? That's how sensitive I am. That line between the A train and spirit, right? Between life and what's really there and what's not there, what you can see and what other people can't see. Empaths are hypersensitive. Then you have the next level, mediums. Mediums are empaths that is an empath who has learned how to see, manipulate, harness the energy within them, around them, and through others, right? And they choose to engage the feeling. And more than engage the feeling, I use the word engage. More than engage the feeling, they have mastered it, right? It is no longer something that controls them. It is something that they're able to control, hence the word manipulate. And that control is born out of confidence. Yes, confidence that I know what's there, I feel that, I know what that's about, and this is how I'm going to deal with it, right? That's the difference between somebody who's an empath and they can't ignore it and they don't know what's happening, so they just take antidepressants or they smoke weed or they drink liquor and they try to numb the senses so that they don't feel, right? Then, of course, there are people in the middle. They're empaths. They don't know where to go to become a medium, right? So to become a medium, you've got to study it. You've got to study yourself. You have to study a path of some kind, whether it's Buddhism, it's Catholicism. You've got to have some type of structure to help you work with your sensitivity. Okay. All right, so that's there. I'm going to pull up because I couldn't see the chat. Do I have any questions? Ahi says I would not be saying either. And Onyx has a thumbs up. Okay, so any other questions about what I put up there on the board? And this is from me. These are my definitions, and they're my definitions to help us guide the conversation. Does anybody have any challenges with what I've presented here? Please share it with me. Oh, I have Bridget and Jana wish to come on board. Give me 1 second. Does anybody wish to?
I'm not sure of that, Io, so we'll leave it alone because people do that all day while I'm here. So for now, let's ignore it. Okay.
Okay. But before I move forward, does anybody want to add or subtract, or anybody have any challenges with what I've presented as far as answering the question if they were medium or not? Talk to me, y'all. Come on. No questions. All right, so I'll take silence as a keep going. Move this down here. So I'm going to play. So, altars. Now that you understand when I say mediums, what I mean. When I say empaths, what I mean. Let's jump into altars. Maferi fun Shango, Kavya Sile. Shango is saving me this year. So I found a picture online of a Cuban priest showing a priest of Shango, of course, showing off his Shango. So that's an altar, right? It's some place where we can go and talk to Shango. You have Catholicism, right? Another space with certain artifacts and certain things that are used to connect to spirit and invoke a connection, invoke energy, healing, salvation, restoration. You have another altar that is just as beautiful and complex, and the votives, right? The Buddhas in the middle and on the side. You have a very simple altar, 2 candles, a book, and a cross. Then you have altars that are non-denominational, right? That are not governed strictly by a tradition. You have here a very simple Zen garden space where you have a Buddha and some rocks and some flowing water and just those elements moving together to help calm and restore yourself. You have charcoal. Some people have bells. Some people use crystals, right? A little space in their corner to channel energy and to focus. This is a feng shui altar image that I found to cultivate wealth and prosperity and things like that. There's a little tree, crystal tree there in the middle. And then, of course, there are spaces and there are faiths and ways to connect to God where there is no altar, where you are the altar and the direction in which you face is how you connect, right? Today, I want to talk about this particular altar because this is the altar that most of us use in the Lukumi tradition. It's called the Bovida. The Bovida, according to a Puerto Rican student I had in my course, she said Bovida meant a bank, something to entrust or to hold in trust, something that holds, similar to a bank. And please, y'all in the chat, correct me if I'm wrong. The reason I like that definition is because we use the Bovida to hold our prayers and to connect our prayers to God. Yes? The Bovida has the altar, right? The white cloth, the white table, has the God glass in the middle, the ancestral glass to the left, and the guides protections glass to the right. And this structure is repeated in many traditions: the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, husband, man, woman, child, right? It's the triad, the Holy Trinity, if you will. So we're going to jump into this. But guys, I really need to see some chats because I'm just talking out here. So I just hope that you
Amma has a question. What's the glass to the right?
Okay. The glass to the right, your right. You know what? He has a long one. I'm gonna do more than that, Amma. We're gonna break this whole thing down, right? I meditated this morning and I was told to present a large portion of one of the sessions of my spiritual relationship development class. And those who are students that are on the call will remember this particular lesson that I'm about to share. So let's jump in. I need to see the screen. You guys need to see me. And if you can hit the three dots to the right of my image to pin me so that my image is larger than Kateria's, so that you can see this back here. And forgive me, Hopin didn't take my other camera, which would have been able to zoom in more. So I'm gonna write very big. All right, so we have in the Judeo-Christian society, right? Judeo-Christian community, God is in the sky, right? So if you can put in the chat all the names for God that you can think of to help me fill out this cloud mass in the heavens. So you guys type in the chat, Alofi. What else do I see here? I have Yahweh, Olodumare, Allah, Jehovah, the Source, Jah, Great Spirit, Creator, Nyame. Oh, who's Nyame? Creator. Nyame. Supreme Being. Should have made a bigger space. All right. Thank you so much for contributing. Olorun is a space. That's all of this. So all of this in Yoruba terms would be considered heaven, right? Where God resides. But it's not, Olorun is not the name of God. You follow? Olorun is another name for heaven. But thank you, Lena. Gichi Manido. Never heard that one. Had to look that up. Gichi Manido. It's a giveaway. Manido. We're recording this, so I'm going to get to follow up. So we have. Can you guys see my screen? So ticked off about this. See if I can move that closer. You guys got me? All right, Mama Roberta, thank you. Move this down a bit. So you have heaven, right? And up in heaven, before you were born, stay with me, y'all. This is a story I was told by my mom growing up. She says, Io, you chose me, so you can't get mad at me. You picked me to live this life, so deal with it. That's what it's like growing up in a Yoruba family. Before you're born, you're hanging out with God. You're hanging out with the Great Spirit. Gichi Manudo, Allah, right? You're up there. You're not born yet. So while you're up there with the Great Spirit, you decide to be born. And in being born, you're telling God that, I missed my red marker. You're telling God what you want to do and how you want to be and how you wish to contribute to the world. If we take Amawat was talking to God. He said, God, I want to sing all over the world. I want to use my voice like an instrument. I want to feel you in every moment. I am so paraphrasing Amawat right now. I do not know how she feels, but this is how I feel when I hear you sing, sis. So Amawat is talking to God and she's saying, I want to sing. I want to embody music. God says, okay, you want to sing? You want to sing? Then, okay, you're going to sing. Then you need to be born to a certain person, right? You need to be born to certain people so that you can grow up and learn how to sing. So while Amma is up there talking to God, there are other people, there are other spirits hanging out up there that are listening to what Amma wants to do with her life, right? And some of those spirits up there are ancestors. They're people in Amma's direct bloodline that hear what she wants to do. And, yo, I used to be a musician. I can help Amma. God, I want to help Amma in her life. So God says, okay. So when Amma is born, so we've got ancestors. Then there are other spirits, other people's spirits, right? Let's say some of my ancestors heard what Amma wants to do. And they were like, yo, I can help Amma too. I'm a kick butt songwriter. God says, okay, you want to help Amma too? No problem. Then you are a guide and protection. Essentially, other people's ancestors. Right? So you have ancestors that are committed to helping you in your life that were sent with you to earth. Then you have other people's ancestors who also want to help you in your life. Those are your guides and protections. Right? So not all ancestors are here to help you in your life. There's some that made a commitment with you and God before you were born to help you live this life. Right? So we are going to draw our permeable membrane between spirit and life. So Amma's born. I hope you don't mind me using you, sis. That's just Mafedi Flishango, right? So Amma's born. And with her came all these people to help her sing. to open up her way, to inspire her, to protect her, to heal her, right? And when Amma, because she was born in the tradition she was born in, she probably has an altar, a Bovida altar. But let's say Amma was born to a Catholic community. When she goes to church and she sends up her prayers, right? When she sends up her prayers to God, God hears it. Yahweh hears it. Nyame, Olodumare, Jehovah. They hear it. And they send messages to her ancestors and her guides and protections. Yo, Amma sent up a prayer. Who wants to handle that? Right? So you've got your prayer goes up and the messages come down. Messages, tasks. Let's keep it on the same direction. They come down, and then your guides' protections help you. Right? Because God is all these names. He's answering, she's answering a bunch of calls. But you've got your very own source of people to help you navigate, to help you work your prayers and create, make them real. Yes? So your guides and protections hear you, but your prayer goes up to everything, to the Great Spirit. Whenever you lift a prayer, it goes into this great love, into this great energy. The assignments are specifically sent to your guides, protections, and to you, to help you. Tell me y'all are with me. I'll wait till you type. All right. Tiffany's yes. I got a Jamila, yes, with you. Shashat. Hey, Shashat. All right, y'all are with me. Cool. So we've got our ancestors, we have our guides, protections, and we have us. So every time we lift a prayer, what do we say? We say light, peace, and progress to the guides and protections and ancestors of Amawat, right? Or Tiffany Johnson, right? You say light, peace, and progress. And every time you do that, you elevate your guides and protections and ancestors. Because the commitment you made up here is, I want to sing. Your guides and protections and ancestors said, we want to help Amma sing. And in return for helping Amma sing, we'll get Amma's prayers. We'll get God's grace, and we will be elevated and lifted in God's light, right? Light, peace, and progress. That's a lift. That's a power up. It's like Power Rangers. Or if anybody saw, remember Pac-Man? And Pac-Man ate that certain fruit. It got stronger and was able to go crazy, right? That's what you're doing every time you pray for your guides, protections, and ancestors, or for the younger people, Super Saiyan, right? You get this magical boost of energy. Every time you pray, light, peace, and progress to the guides, protections of Amawat, light, peace, and progress to the guides, protections of Katiria Nyambi, or light, peace, and progress to the guides, protections of all the people present. You are boosting everyone. Everybody's spirit. All these guys get more energy, right? They get super powerful. What does super powerful do? Super powerful means Amma's calling us. So when Amma's getting ready to go on stage, I do not know any of this, y'all. Amma is just who I'm channeling today. Amma's getting ready to go on stage, and she says a prayer. She takes a deep breath. And she's doing her throat exercises. And she says, all right, y'all, let's go out here and knock it out. She is pulling all her people to go out on stage with her. And they are listening because she has been powering them up every time she sits at her altar. Yes? So you make them stronger to hear you, stronger to execute on your behalf, stronger to heal you and heal others through you, depending upon the gifts you were given when you were born. The I don't know, Kateria, Tiffany has a challenge. The depending upon the gifts that you were born with. God's protection, just looking at my notes. All right, y'all are with me? Any questions?
You have a question in the Q&A at the top, pinned to the top.
Pinned to the top. Can you talk about clairaudience and clear sight in relationship to mediumship? I can, but I'm not finished. I'm going to hold that thought. Any questions on what I'm sharing and the concepts that I'm presenting? This is good. Okay. Thank you. Does it mean we should only pray for what we asked for before we were born? No, not at all. Not at all. I was just using that as an example. Shoot. You can wake up in the morning and say, listen, y'all, I need to catch this bus. Help me catch this bus. I'm late. Do what you got to do, but I need to get on this bus today. That's a prayer. I need to get paid today. That's a prayer. Please, Lord, don't let my boss piss me off. Okay, so then the prayer is, I need to be patient. All of these prayers are right here. Your guides' protections hear you. But because you have set up some kind of altar, you have opened up a portal of communication. Is it essential to start our prayers with light, peace, and progress? No. As a matter of fact, you end with that. You end with that, which is why this is a part of a class, because in the class, I start with what you just asked, Mama Marva. I start with, how do you pray and how do you set this up? We just don't have enough time. I'm barely getting through this. So no, you end your session with light, peace, and progress. Amma Watt wants to come on stage. I want to see if this works. Do we see Amma? I said yes. I hit the plus sign. I don't know what you see, Kateria.
You may not have meant to. I'm
okay.
telling you.
People are pressing buttons.
Just
when will you
pressing
have
away.
another class? Pressing away. We start again in January, but I'll talk about that at the end of the class because I'm running out of time. So thank you, Tiffany. So we have this structure. Going back to the question about Bovidas. So you have right, and all of this is sitting on a table. And some people have the cross inside or the cross in front. You have a candle. Yes? So to answer the question that was posed by Amma, the one on the right, guides and protections. The Bovida on the left, ancestors. The big one in the middle is God, Yahweh, Giji Manidu, Nyame, Allah, the Supreme Being, all of that. All right? Yep, we're going to talk about that, Ahi. I hope I'm saying that right. I love teaching this stuff. Okay. When I dedicate my Bovidas, and again, that's in the class, we don't have time for that one, but when I dedicate my Bovidas, when I clean them, right, I dedicate my Bovidas with intention to these things. So when it's time to change my glass, I pick up the ancestors first. Those are in your bloodline. Those are people that are very close to you. I take that glass, I rinse it out, I wash it. And before I put it down, I dedicate this glass. I hold it up to the light. I said, I dedicate this glass to the ancestors of Iodele Carter. I pray that I dedicate this glass as a sign of my commitment to our growth in God's light. May my prayers and love lift you as your wisdom from Alofi lifts me. Alofi through you to me lifts me, and we both grow in God's light. Then I say, Our Father who art in heaven, say the Lord's Prayer, and then I put the glass down, and then light, peace, and progress, the guides, protections of Iodele Carter, and I knock 3 times. So every time I dedicate these Bovidas, I am reaffirming this regeneration, this cycle of growth. Because every time I pray, they hear me and we're all lifted. So I lift my prayers, they give me their assistance, and we just continue to grow in this great love. Yes, this is not slavery. There are some people who have a relationship with spirit and it's an enslaved one. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking here about commitment and communion and cooperation. Yes, this is a love relationship that is reciprocal. And I'm not casting aspersions, I'm just making a distinction. I clean my Bovidas with straight water. Because if you're paying attention to your Bovidas, all you should need is water. You should not need any astringent to clean that out. Because if you do, then you're not paying enough attention. Your glasses are way too funky. you gotta spend more time with them. So yeah, I take it under the glass, under the faucet with cold water, and I run my hands in it. Sometimes I take toilet tissue because at the bottom can get gunky, right? Tissue in the toilet. I rinse it out, refill it with cold water, and go back to my altar. Can I repeat the prayer? Someone asked recently why we knock 3 times. Can you speak to that as well? I think it goes back to the Trinity, right? Father, Son, Holy Spirit, God, ancestors, guides. I think it just speaks to that holy 3, which is the core of creation. You can't create without 2. 2 makes 1 more. So we knock 3 times in acknowledgement of all 3. Yeah. I thought that as well, but wasn't completely sure. Well, Alegba is everything, Chanterelle. You know that. Alegba is everything. So yeah, that it all, for me, that particular concept lines up. If there's time, can we speak to the difference between Bovida and ancestral altar? Oh, that's a big one, Mama Roberta. Ahi wants me to repeat the prayer, but there was another question that I missed. Can I talk about clairaudience and clear sight in relationship to medium? Before I jump there, are we good with this? Can I get some thumbs up?
There's someone who asked, and I pinned, allergic to crosses. Are they necessary?
Great question, because that's a part of the altar. And it goes to what Chanterelle mentioned as well. The allergic to crosses. That's so funny. Just looking at the color to use. I'll use green. So, Catholicism is a great imitator, right? It's one of the youngest religions. So it was able to pillage from all of its big brothers and sisters. And as a result, right? This is a cross. North, south, east, and west. Positive, negative, death, life. Yes? And in the middle is where everything exists. Going back to what Chanterelle said. Alegba. Alegba's everywhere. Existence. Everything happens here. Yes? So in the Yoruba tradition, we have a circle. There's some Celtic crosses that do a circle, right, around here. But that cross represents the universe. It does not represent Catholicism on our altar. That cross represents all of this. The Great Spirit, Yahweh, God, Gigi Manidu, Supreme Being. That's what that cross represents. It doesn't represent Christ. It represents the universality of spirit. Everything. So we put it on our glass, which is a very, very important. Because in your house, this guy right here, this God glass, that cross says this represents God in my home. On my altar, this cross represents God. As you saw in a lot of the other images, you had the big Buddha and then two smaller Buddhas, right? There's always one that's bigger that represents the supreme energy. So this cross doesn't have to be the Catholic cross. It could be a lot wider, just 4 points. That's how my cross is. It was made by an artist and it's just woven and it's equidistant from each other. So it doesn't have a Catholic lean. It's just an equidistant 4 points. You have to declare on your altar who's running things. And that's the difference, in my opinion, with makeshift altars. If you don't declare them with intention. Ancestors go here. Spirit guides go here. Anybody else running around your house as you dedicate these glasses, hang out with God. They're represented here. God takes care of them. You understand? Some people mention, other people have 7 glasses. You have to ask your godparent about those 7 glasses and why they set those up. Some people do the 7 African powers in their particular line. Some people have 7 glasses dedicated to 7 different spirits. I start with the core 3. And anytime a spirit works harder from you, one of your guides' protections jumps out at you stronger, works harder, answers faster, comes up in La Mesa Blancas at white tables, then they deserve their own glass, right? That's where we dedicate something to the side for a special person who we can call directly to help us write a song. There's a difference between the cross and the crucifix. Yes, cross is also African. I cannot what Mama Daria said. Does that help? No, that's cosmogram. Right. The cosmogram. Yeah, all that stuff is built in. The zoom camera flip, maybe it's in the opposite order. Yeah, that's possible. It might be opposite. We have 10 minutes to go. So going back to altars, clairvoyance. Before I go there, I'm going to go there. No matter what you set up, please, somewhere on your altar, dedicate something to God so that God, a great light, governs your prayer. Whatever you set it up with intention. If you use crystals, give it an intention. Give it a job. Make it do something so that something else doesn't come and take it. Okay? In our class, we talk about water and why we use water. We go in. It's really awesome. We, again, don't have time for that. But to talk about all the altars that we have, you want to set up your altar with intention and with knowledge, because understanding breeds confidence. And confidence furthers your faith, right? When you know, I sit at these Bovidas and my prayers are going up and I know my people are hearing me because I dedicated this glass to them and we're going to get this done. That's a confidence that no one can take away from you, that your prayers are heard. God hears you. Yes? So if you've got stones, you've got sage, you've got plants, whatever your tradition or denomination, have something dedicated to God and mark it in a way that is universally recognized. And that is usually with some type of four corners. Okay. And so we're going to jump into, all right, I answered the 7 glass question. Clairaudience and where'd you go? Clairaudience and clear sight in relationship to mediumship. Everybody, when they're hanging out up here, is given certain things to help them live their life. There's certain things that they're supposed to do in this world, and those particular tools help. Clairaudience is the ability to hear messages from spirit. Some of those messages could be a foretelling. Some of those messages can be a warning. But being able to hear, which is what I do, I hear spirit. It's a part of mediumship. You understand? We just use clairaudience and clear sight so that we can communicate with each other with what our sensitivities are and how, what's your superpower, right? But when we talk about mediumship, you can be clairaudience, auditive, if that's a word. Sineme, correct me if I'm wrong. The key is, what are you doing about it? What is your discipline about your hearing? Yes? Do you do tarot cards and listen for the message? Do you get up in the morning and pray and listen for a message? You understand? The act of being a medium is that it is surrounded by a discipline and a consistency. You can have clairaudience, you can see spirit. That just makes you an empath. Being able to channel it, target it, pull it, use it to heal others, use it to manage a misa, a spiritual ceremony. Yes, use it to clean spirit off of someone else. Use it to clean spirit off yourself. That level of mastery and spiritual acumen is what makes you a medium. Clairaudience and clear sight and clairvoyance, that makes you an empath. Okay, are we good? Kateria, how are we doing?
You're doing very well. I'm so glad you are able to articulate this in the way that you have. There's just a statement from Mama Isoke at the top. But Amma Watt has a question. It's from Quab, her husband. Can you speak to the different things you can do on and with your altar if you feel your prayers at the altar aren't being answered?
Shucks. So, Kwabna. That's a big question, dude. And the reason that's a big question, forgive me, dude is a term of endearment for me, so forgive me if that is offensive. Prayers being answered. There's a hubris to knowing how they should be answered, right? So you're already stepping to your prayer with an understanding of how it's going to be fulfilled. My recommendation is that you pray for what you desire. How it manifests, you'll know, right? Can you speak on different things you can do with your altar if you fear your prayers are not being answered? You can spend more time with it, right? And in spending more time, this is not a plug, but we talk about it in class. Baba Kevin talked about it at the beginning of the conference. Sitting with these people is a relationship, right? It's like they're trying to help you, they're trying to work with you, but if you don't talk to them, you don't give them the time of day, you don't give them a space in your house or a space in your life, They're not going to hear you. But oh, now you got an emergency. We're supposed to jump for you. You understand? It's a commitment. Check your prayer. Is this the correct prayer? I say, Mami Soke, you're absolutely right. But even before the prayer, you have to build a relationship with an altar that's listening to you, right? Everything isn't for us despite what we deserve. That's true, Mama Daria. But again, I go back to the beginning of developing a relationship with spirit. However it is, if it's one glass, you have to let them know that you want help. You have to let them know that you need them, that you want them, and that you're in this with them before you have to call 911. Does that help?
I may I also add a piece, but I also want to
Please.
know. I also want to know what you do, what you use, some of the tools. So, I think one of the important pieces is to listen to the directions given to you by your spirit guides. And if you don't have the, empath power, it's not developed, that you use tools at your Boveda in order to understand what they want you to do. So I hope that helps Quab as well. Um, so can you tell everyone some of the books or cards or whatever you do at your Boveda to get messages maybe through books or cards and things of that nature?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for the assist, sis. Um, I use one. You should use something that speaks to you, right? Some people grew up in the church, and if the Bible talks to you, then you need to use it, right? If that's where you feel comfortable, and when you crack that book, it speaks to you. I use Daily Meditations by Dang Ming Dao. It's 365 days of the Tao, because I have a Taoist spirit that's with me, and we talk in poetry. So I crack that. I crack Acts of Faith, which flopped out of my bag before I came downstairs. And how do I do it? I take the book, I center myself with a deep breath at my Bovida, wherever your altar is, even if it's just one glass to God, right? Excuse me, that you dedicate to God. At your prayer space. We didn't even get into portals. Okay, get over it. So you take the book, you put it to your head, and you say the prayer that speaks to you. I say the Lord's Prayer. You can say Allah, you can do a chant, whatever moves you, that connects you with spirit. You say your prayer and you ask for what you want. I need direction on being my best person today. And you just put your finger in the book and open it. So for me, it opened to gratitude. When you drink water, remember its source. That's for me today. So I'm drinking water and I am remembering that spirit has allowed me to be here today, that all these years of prayer and sacrifice and work allow me to be here today. So that's my prayer for today. Remember where I came from. Remember the source. So Kwabna and Kateria, I hope that helps, right? That all of this is spirit inspired and experience. I sat in my Bovidas, I asked questions, and I listened, and I created. You can't find this anywhere. Spirit helped me do this. I'm an engineer. Okay, that helps. But you understand? So you go to that Bovida and you crack the book that speaks to you and you listen. Kateria? Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
So at times we ask for what's not necessary. In closing, is it necessary to have a Bovida and an ancestor altar? You mean an Egun shrine? Yes. Those are two different things. This is non-denominational. This is non-denominational. Anybody can have a glass of water. I had a Muslim in my class, and he set up one glass to Allah. And the days between where he could get to, so he does his prayers, but he said there are other conversations he wanted to have with God. So he takes his glass, he sits it in the window, and he talks to God. Right? So this is non-denominational. Your ancestral altar, I think you're inferring Egun in the Yoruba Lukumi tradition, that's a whole other thing. And I go into it in my class in depth. We have diagrams and we break it down. But you need two if you're a Yoruba. You need your Egun altar if you're Lukumi Yoruba. This altar is for another level of communication. I hope that works. Kateria,
Yes,
did that sound?
so that sounds good to me. So,
I mean, like, was it
oh,
complete? Because there's more.
yes, yes, of course. So I think we have, this was beautiful. It resonated with me so much. I wanted to let everyone know. Oh, yes, tell us about your course. And then I may leave you at 3:25 to get over to the other session, but you'll still be able to stay up here for a little while. So, yes, tell everyone about your course, about the fact that you are a sponsor, hello, of the conference. Big up to
Yes,
you.
I
Please
am.
go to the reception area, everyone, and you'll see that Iodeli is a sponsor. Can you give me your website address here, and I will put it in the chat.
I have all of that like ready, and I don't know why I'm off my
What is it,
game. Maybe
Femi
I'm just excited.
Studio?
It's
Femi.
famistudio.com,
Okay, I'm gonna put
and
that
I'm
up
gonna
here in the
present
chat.
my screen. Oh, there we go. That's me. famistudio.com. You can click on my link on the reception page, and it'll take you to my website. Classes start the second week in January for winter semester. And then we have a spring semester series. It's all online. We use Google because most folks have Google already set up in their environment. It's live. I use similar boards. My students can recognize this world, right? I go back and forth between boards. It's interactive, and it gets very intimate. And to let you know that anything said in that spiritual course is kept in that spiritual course. I don't even share who takes the course. That's how intimate this is to me, right? Because with your altars, that should be your safe space. That's where you're the prettiest, you're the strongest, you're the smartest, you're the most voluptuous in front of God. Yes? And this is where you go. Whatever your altar looks like, that's where you go to power up and help deal in this world and help restore your faith every morning, every day, and every evening. So in closing, I just wanted to share that with you. Power up, get your altars together, and I'm here to help. I love you and thank you.
Thank you, Ayodele. It's beautiful. Thank you,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Let's give Ayodele her flowers, some hand claps, some thumbs up, whatever you got on your computer. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh, look at
My
this. Look,
pleasure.
look, look. Oh,
Oh, I got
thank you.
hearts from Jana. Thank you, goddaughter. Thank you, Shashat. Thank you, Mama Say. That means a lot. I appreciate all of you. You see, I'm up here sweating. That's why I wore sleeveless because this makes me warm.
You did wonderfully.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a great day. Oh my goodness.